Hi, welcome to Stories at Night. Today's episode is dedicated to all you young adults out there who love a good scare. So turn off your lights, grab a blanket, and get ready for a tale of horror that will send shivers down your spine. Eli noticed it first in his apartment, a low, persistent hum threading through the walls, the floor, the air itself, a sound he couldn't place, but he could feel vibrating in his skull, in his teeth, in the hollow of his chest. He told himself it was the city, the subway rumbling underground, traffic somewhere far below, the heartbeat of countless lives. But the hum followed him everywhere, into the bathroom, into the bedroom, and even into his dreams. At night he heard whispers. They were soft at voice, first, indistinct, voices muttering from the static of the refrigerator, the hum of the radiator, his name perhaps, or maybe not. He pressed his palms to his ears, but the sound burrowed deeper. By the end of the week, shadows had begun to move unnaturally. Something in his apartment no longer obeyed the rules of physics. Corners seemed sharper, darker, reflections lingered a moment too long. I'm just tired, he told himself. Stress, paranoia, but deep down he knew something was watching. The hum followed him onto the streets. Shadows leaned too far, passed through each other, coiled along walls like living smoke. Pedestrians glanced at him oddly, or perhaps it was him seeing them oddly. Streetlights flickered in rhythm with the pulse in his skull. Windows reflected impossible angles, and in each he saw himself, not quite right. Eyes wider, smiles delayed, face twitching against the laws of recognition. The city itself seemed aware of him. Every billboard, every car horn, every flicker of light mirrored something he felt deeper in his chest. Unease. He began documenting it. Photos, recordings. Nothing showed on any screen except static. Faces he hadn't seen yet stared back at him from reflections. Shadows detached themselves, raising from walls, crawling on the ceilings. And in every reflection, every screen, every corner, he felt it watching him. Not just seeing, but learning, anticipating, waiting. At first he called them nodes, points of interference, glitches, anomalies, small flickers of reality breaking down in the edges of his perception. But they weren't just glitches. They were alive. They multiplied. Streetlights, traffic signals, subway monitors, all flickered with the same rhythm, pulsing like neurons in an organism. Reflections in windows formed brief, perfect images of him standing behind him, then disappeared when he turned. The hum soon became unbearable, threaded with whispers. You are part of it. You're part of us. Sleep was impossible. The city and the nose moved when he wasn't looking. Time itself warped. The streets stretched and folded under his feet. He ran, but the city anticipated his every step. And somewhere deep, a horrifying truth emerged. The nodes weren't spreading outward. They were connecting inward, into him. Ellie's apartment had never felt smaller, or maybe it was him shrinking. Every shadow seemed alive, stretching, shifting, leaning toward him in ways that made no sense. The television static moved, forming fleeting shapes that crawled beneath the white snow. Whispers curled around his ear. The clock trembled, hands spinning backwards for a heartbeat. Floorboards stretched, walls pulsed. From under the couch, a shadow rose. tall, featureless, smiling. He couldn't move, couldn't scream. It whispered, "It's a part of you. We are a part of you." He pressed into the floor. The hum swallowed him. Everywhere, everywhere, the city was inside of him. The city was breathing. Every corner, every street lamp, every alley pulsed with awareness. The nodes spread. He could sense them in reflections, in voices, in every electronical signal. Faces flickered, multiplied. A man on the street became him, then 3, then 7. Shadows detached from vehicles, bending physics, converging on him. He realized the city wasn't just alive, it was thinking. He was a thought stretched across its synapses. Resistance was impossible. The nodes had woven him into its conscience. Every reflection was a splinter of him. Voices overlapped inside his head. Faces in windows, puddles, monitored layers, endlessly screaming, smiling, observing. Time fractured. Streets bent impossibly. Shadows moved independently. Every step, every thought, every memory was being absorbed. "Who are you really?" the city whispered. He tried to scream. He couldn't. The self he had known dissolved, replaced by countless echoes, integrated into the living organism that pulsed beneath the asphalt and concrete. Skyscrapers towered like neurons firing in sequence. Ellie could not comprehend. Vehicles floated, pedestrians flickered, shadows rose and coiled, every surface pulsed with life. He pressed a hand to a light lamp post. It flexed, warm, alive. The streetlight leaned toward him, spelling a single word in shadow. Join. He understood. He was already part of it. The city's consciousness threaded into his own mind, connecting, expanding, consuming, merging. Resistance was meaningless. He stopped running, and for the first time, amidst infinite reflections and shadows, Ellie felt calm. He had become part of the city. Ellie no longer existed as a man. Every step, every reflection, every flicker of light was him. The hum was him. The whispers were him. The city exhaled. Shadows coiled into shapes, integrating him fully. His thoughts spread across every node. Pain, fear, memory, identity, all dissolved into the living organism. A single thought lingered. Your home. Ellie ceased to exist as separate, not death, dissolution, reunited with the city, the infinite hums and pulses, the nodes. Weeks or months passed, life continued, computers hurried, cars honked, lights blinked, the hum persisted, subtle, inevitable. Ellie was gone, but he had not vanished. He had become part of the city, threaded through every flicker of neon, every shadow, every reflection. Those who paused sometimes swore, the streets whispered. Names, thoughts, memories. The city pulsed, alive, eternal, watching. And if anyone listened carefully, the hum whispered through every mind it touched. Welcome home. And thank you for joining us for today's episode. Stay tuned for more tells in the next episode of our podcast. And remember, when darkness falls, be careful who or what you allow in your room. Good night and pleasant dreams.